The craft beer industry is a pretty unique one here in the United States. Brewers share and collaborate on recipes, they trade ingredients, and most brewers even encourage their customers to visit the other local breweries in the area. And while some cities are feeling a little overrun with new breweries, there's no doubt that this sense of community has allowed the industry to thrive to over 7,000 active breweries today. But some brewers apply this community focus into absolutely everything that they do. A co-op business model is becoming increasingly popular amongst startup breweries that truly want to be connected to their communities. Hey, this is Ryan with Beer by the Numbers, and if you're like me, you've heard of a co-op before but don't really fully understand how they work. Co-op business models are most commonly associated with grocery stores, but a variety of businesses and nonprofits take this more communal approach to running a business. But what is running a co-op brewery like day to day, and what benefits do membership in co-op breweries have? Well, I aim to take a closer look at this increasingly popular business model in the beer industry today in this episode of Beer by the Numbers. Leave a like down below for great educational beer content, and let's get started. If you aren't familiar, a cooperative or co-op is a business that buys and sells products and services just like any other. The difference is that a co-op is owned and governed by its members rather than solely by stockholders and managers. And while this definition might seem pretty simple, already we've introduced a ton of gray area in how the business is to be run. What counts as a member varies widely from business to business. Members can be workers, customers, producers, managers, investors, or any combination of those 5 groups. Usually, but not always, members are required to make some sort of financial contribution to the business, sometimes as little as $100. Cooperatives tends to focus on a wider set of values than a traditional business. Often they have a specific charitable mission or operate in a way to try and benefit their employees or community at large, rather than the more narrow focus of turning a profit. Now, I think this wider range of potential values often confuses a lot of people. Many people automatically assume that since profits are just one of many values the business hold, it makes co-ops somehow better than more profit-oriented ventures. I would argue that they aren't better per se, just different. After all, there are plenty of for-profit businesses, large and small, that do a great job of giving back to their local communities. Oftentimes, co-ops can be so focused on providing benefits to their members that they come at the expense of the larger non-member community, or even risk the stability of the business itself. So it's very important for co-ops to have a clear vision on how to balance their values, as oftentimes tough decisions will have to be made that some members aren't going to benefit from. So what does membership in a co-op get you in the business world? Well, membership has a variety of benefits that usually include some sort of say in the business practices, and in the case of breweries, members often get to provide input on the beer being created and served. I think the easiest way to wrap your mind around all this stuff is to look at a few examples. I'm going to start with a brewery co-op local to me here in Minnesota that was my first introduction to the concept, Fair State Brewing. Fair State is a great brewery and was probably one of the first in the state of Minnesota to focus almost exclusively on sours. As a customer, you are able to become a member of the co-op for $20 a month, and it comes with a wide variety of benefits. Aside from getting to vote on questions of business direction, members are given special access to limited release beers and brewery events, and some brews are reserved specifically for members only. They can also help the brewery decide on which nonprofits the brewery partners with when they give back to the community. Part of the brewery's profits are reserved towards special members-only happy hours with great beers on tap as well. But I think one of the coolest benefits they offer their members is major involvement in the brewing process itself. Twice a year, members sit down with a brewer to collaborate on a recipe together to be released to the drinking public. And every summer, they hold a member homebrew challenge to compete for a chance to brew your beer on their commercial system. And late in the spring, they even make some wort and give it away to their homebrewing members to ferment and finish in any way that they want. Fair State does a really superior job not only giving their members a say in the direction of the business, but also in allowing the members to be involved in creating new and exciting products themselves. Blackstar Co-op in Austin, Texas was the world's first cooperatively owned brew pub when it was opened in September 2010. At its peak, it had about 3,200 members that created a pretty vast members assembly. Through tasting panels and member-owner meetings, the brewers create beers that the members, and thus the community, really want to drink. They also provide a wide range of food options, and true to the co-op's vision, they serve locally sourced and sustainably produced foods from a community of conscientious Texas farmers and ranchers who are devoted to the same principles. And although this brew pub did find itself in some tough financial times in 2017, through a strong sense of community, they have weathered that storm and have come roaring back with a great growth year in 2018. But the co-op model isn't all positive. Co-ops rely heavily on a loyal fan base, which isn't always a given in today's highly competitive craft beer world, where drinkers are always looking for something new and different to try. Without a steady stream of revenue coming in from members, losing money is almost inevitable for a co-op. Therefore, it's incredibly important for a co-op to offer enough great benefits so that their members stick around for the long term. Additionally, market conditions often dictate the decisions business owners have to make. But the democratic structures often employed by co-ops makes executing on these decisions a little difficult sometimes. Those members who have a greater management role often have to balance competing member interests within the group. For example, worker members may want higher wages, but customer members might not be willing to pay more for beer. How a co-op balances these requirements will be key in their success. But for many people in many different communities, working together to run a brewery and achieve community goals has proven very successful. And of course, these co-ops are cranking out some great beer. So if there's a co-op brewery in your area, I highly recommend you check them out. And while you're there, be sure to ask what their goals and values are. I have no doubt you'll be treated to a unique learning experience along with all that unique beer you're drinking. And if you want to be a supporter of great educational beer content being produced for the YouTube community, do me a favor and leave a like down below. That way this video will find its way to as many interested beer nerds as possible. Once again, this has been Ryan with Beer by the Numbers, and I'll be back next time with more cooperative beer content.